hello, hello. If you are watching the replay, go ahead and fast forward about 15 minutes. I'm just going to sit and chat and get my space ready while people show up. It's 6:45, and I'll be live. Well, I'm live now, but I'll be making art at 7. So thanks for being here. And yeah, just getting my act in gear. Hi, Wendy. How are you? How you holding up, sweet girl? Yes, I bet. Come on in. I am working on this like envelope tag style book. I know. I'm so sorry. I have no doubt. But you know what? My group of girls who will show up are easygoing, funny, just like well-natured chicks. So if you want to hang around, you are more than welcome. I'm just going to post this in a couple places real quick, and then I'll join you at my table. But I can chat super easily. Thanks for loving my book. Hi, Dina. Oh, ha, that's funny. That's definitely not what I meant to post. Let's see. Let's delete that. That is funny, though. I've been checking into this custom emojis thing. I'm going to have to see if I can get you guys some of those to use. I think that'd be fun during our chats. Hi, Pat. I'm so glad I saw that your package arrived. I'm almost done putting in my order for wax seals. So hopefully that stuff will be here in a few weeks. I know you're interested in that plus sign. All right, I'm almost done posting, and then I'll be right there. Oh, Dina, that is so good. I'm so excited for you. How long do you think it'll take to get the council permit? I mean, I know you've sort of been running into stuff left and right, but it's going to be so awesome once you get to the building stage. I love how often we have to remind YouTube that we don't want free ads, like whatever it costs to be a YouTube, like that type of member. Like it's, I mean, I must do it at least twice a day. Have to tell it, like, no thanks. Yeah, well, 3 weeks isn't bad, but I'm glad that you're making headway. That's for sure. So Dina, well, and anybody who's here, Willa Wanders, her name is Wendy, and she's the one that does the Willa journals. So my supporters who are popping on, that was the cover I showed you that I was working on, that fabric cover. That's Wendy's journal course that I'm taking. And Wendy is Willa. If that wasn't clear, it is now. Oh yeah, yes, we'll start soon. We'll start soon. Come on in, chat for a minute while we wait for others to show up. I usually start on the hour and try to go to the next hour just to keep things cohesive. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing tonight, Miss Kostiolek? I just saw on Facebook that you were baking zucchini bread tonight. Is that for the girls? Just because? Because you had that much zucchini? That's a lot of zucchini. I love zucchini bread, though. I love zucchini bread. I love banana bread. I love carbs so much. It's ridiculous. When I don't eat carbs, I'm so much like healthier and my body is so much happier. But man, I love carbs. It's so hard. I always go like a good 4 months, no carbs. And then I just... How'd your class go? Did you have a good turnout? Everything's going virtual for sure. If it hadn't already, it's gonna this year. Oh, Dina, mine too. I love walnuts in my banana bread. And then if you crisp it up a little on the outside, it's nice and warm, and you put some butter on it. So good. Yes. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, my carbs, like when I'm eating low carb, they come from like lots of green vegetables and stuff like that. Nuts. I always get carbs from nuts. You know, and this is so bad, but I mean, come on. McDonald's now is doing breakfast. They've got like the little bakery breakfast, you know, not just their McMuffin and stuff like that. We got one of those blueberry muffins a couple days ago when I was out. I had to go get the oil change in the car and go to the design center, and I grabbed a muffin through McDonald's drive-thru. Holy shit, that thing was good. It was so good. and it had some streusel on top, and we were up to 11 or 12 watchers. Now we kind of dropped down to 5. I'll be here. I will, I swear. Oh, it did just occur to me, I think. Oh, was the apple fritter good? Okay. So my camera is upside down, and I don't like it like that. So I'm going to flip it so don't get sick, okay? Sorry, Charlie. I don't know why it took me this long to realize. Almost there. Oops. There we go. Did that fix it? Actually, I don't think that did fix it. No, we're still, dang it. All right. I guess I'm just going to deal with it for tonight. I don't like it. But my camera, so my camera mount has 2 pieces to it, so that I can mount my phone also. My phone has a much better view. And so I use it to film videos, but when I go live, I use the webcam, which is fairly high end. But anyways, what I'm getting at is I have to switch the mount depending on if I'm doing lives or if I'm editing, like recording a video to display on YouTube. So it just depends on what I've been doing, but apparently I didn't get it back the right way today, and that's great. That's just great. Okay, I'm going to stop touching it. I'm sorry if I made you sick. My hands will just be coming from the top instead of the bottom, which is kind of funny. Does that help there? Oh, yeah, I read that somewhere, Dina. You can do the same thing with avocados. Like if you get home from the store or you're at the store and the avocados are all too, like they're not ripe yet, you get home and pop them in a paper bag and just set them on the counter for a day and then they're ripe. I read that. Okay, it's close enough to 7. It's a minute and a half away. I'm gonna open my book, figure out what I want to do, how to pull this little bit to a close, because it's pretty close here. I think all these flips and flaps and folds, and I wonder what I have for image transfers. I always love to pop an image transfer or 2 in. Oh yeah, everything's going to be upside down tonight. It's so silly. It's so silly. I love that this guy is like flippy flappy on the back, but I don't want it falling open. So having sort of just flipped through it once, I'm going to put, this needs a tie or something. But none of the others have tie downs. All right, I'm going to think about that some more before I get ahead of myself. Oh, this has a nice space on it to do some work. This too, this too. An image transfer would look so good there. Let me see what I have in my little, I know, I'm sorry. That's so funny. I was just last night bragging too about how good everything's been, switching to YouTube Live, and how how much happier I am with it. So then what do? I mount my camera upside down today. Hi, Lisa. Go figure. Oh, you know what? Okay, so I actually really like doing this. I love, we're going to do this. I'm going to image transfer some book text. So I'm going to spread this out so that I have a pretty fairly, whatever, flat surface to work on. The only thing is I don't want this straight line and this straight line. So I'm going to tear this so that it has a more natural sort of stopping point. I mean, it's not natural because it's torn, but it's just not straight up and down, and that's nice. I'm going to save these. I'll always use scraps, book scraps. It just doesn't matter. All right. And I am going to get out my fluid matte medium. And a clean brush. It is important that it's a clean brush. And I am going to apply the matte medium to my book text in a nice thin layer. And then to my envelope. Make sure and pop this in my water so that the brush doesn't get ruined, because fluid matte medium, it has an acrylic binder in it, right? Don't forget. And then I'm going to run the text. I want it to go off the page. And actually, yeah, that'll be all right. Off the page. And burnish this nice and flat. And then put my cap back on, and I'm going to heat this so that it's dry. Because the number one thing when it comes to doing image transfers with a wet medium is that everything that the adhesive, the medium, whatever you're using is dry between the two. If it's not dry, then when you go to start working the paper off, you're going to pull up. Wherever there's wet medium, you're just going to pull up the whole thing, and it's going to be gross and nasty and not your friend. Tiger, you are so welcome. Merry super late Christmas. Thank you for being a supporter last year. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy your tags. I think, Dina, yours is the last one to arrive. And yeah, stick around. We'll do another round come Christmas, something else. And then don't forget, you guys, the $25 supporters, like, you're collecting quarterly art. So we're about halfway through. And I got to start figuring out what I want to gift you guys for your quarterly art collection. All right, let's just heating it dry. Want to make sure it's dried completely. It is no fun to image transfer and the whole thing pull up. In fact, it's quite the opposite of fun. All right. And because I've already got so much going on this little bit, I'm going to tuck a paper towel. And I try not to use a lot of paper towels anymore. They aren't super for the environment. And I try to do sort of my bit wherever I can. But they are really absorbent. So I need something that is going to stop all the excess moisture from leaking onto the underside. Otherwise, I mean, it's paper-based. The whole thing could just kind of come apart. So I'm going to be careful about applying my water. But I'm also going to, I have a paper towel and then just a cotton rag. So if you're conscious about the environment, which I'm not preaching. You can be you. You do you. I'll do me. But I picked up these cotton rags from Walmart in the automotive section, I think, and they're like really affordable and they soak up stuff fairly well also. So yeah, keep them around, and then whatever they end up soaking up at the end, you can turn them into something. All right, so I'm just going to dampen now that the gel medium is really dry between. I'm going to dampen and in the paper, and in a circular motion, I'm going to work away that top layer of paper and pulp. And now the idea is that the gel medium underneath has adhered to the layer of ink that the text has, that the text is. And then I'll work away all the paper pulp and leave behind just that layer of ink that's adhered to the gel medium. Yeah, look at that. And it is important for me to note, in case you don't know or you're unfamiliar with image transfers, or maybe you just haven't done a lot of them, whatever you put down is going to be reversed. So I knew that going in. So this text is fun because all the text now is reversed, and it's more of a design element than like a legible part of the project. And you'll know if you need to add more water. So there's a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to doing image transfers, and that's okay. Just keep going till you get it. And if you never get it, well, then those are your image transfers. But I love a good image transfer. Whether it's an actual image or it's some text, or you could even image transfer marks. Oh, Dina says she uses old towels and cuts them down to size, and that is a great idea also. Anything that's sort of wearing out. All right. This is pretty much done. I'm going to pull this stuff away, and I'm going to heat it. I love image transfers too. I really do. This edge, I must have got some gel medium on top too, because it does not want to come off. It like has some serious texture to it. Not bad. Turned out pretty good. And I'll get back out my matte medium and just run a really thin layer over this to really seal it in. And then if there's any pulp, any paper left on the backing that I just didn't get, or I'm too lazy, or I've had enough of the rubbing, the gel medium will soak into that and help it stay clear. Or certainly at least lighten it up a little so that it's not so pulpy, not so papery. All right. There. Not too shabby. I think I'm going to do it one more time in another place so that it's not sort of singled out there. Let's see. Oops. That's what was wrong there. My tag was weird. It happens, huh? You know, and the thing with image transfers is that you can transfer anything that is an ink. So there are some really great opportunities out there. All right, okay. I'm going to do it here, I think. Yeah, on the back of that tag. So it has pretty good open space there. In the past, I have done image transfers onto chipboard, you know, onto wood. Like there's a big variety of places you can do image transfers. Which I think also is fun. And then, you know, you can do text and pictures and animals and all kinds of things. Flowers, buildings, architecture is really good. I think people is probably the #1 image transfer. People and photographs, like family portrait type stuff. But I'm an equal opportunity image transfer. Bugs, plants, words. What's the coolest thing you've ever image transferred? I think mine is that giant beetle from the tagged nature book. That thing was so cool. And it was really giant. Like, it was huge. Just following the same process I did before. Just in a little smaller scale now. And I love this because it has the page number on it. Nothing exciting, Dina. I love when they're small like this. They don't take very much work, which is nice because they can take a long time to really get all that pulp off. And I'm not working super hard at that on these. They have the paper has a vintage color to it, vintage tone, because it's super old, and you can see that, and I'm okay with that. And I think it looks really interesting and adds some real life to it. Hi, Angela. Oh, hi, Doreen. I do. Okay, so when I say this, you're going to go, of course. I do prefer to image transfer black and white images. Of course I do, right? But there has been some cool stuff I've seen with colored images and magazine images. Yeah, I mean, there's some really cool stuff out there, some really cool image transfer techniques. Have you seen where Birgit Koopsen, and now here is the thing, like, I love like 99.9% of the stuff she does, where she uses her gel plate to image transfer magazines. That is some cool shit. Like, seriously, that is awesome. I just can't even, every time she shares it, it's amazing. And she's just doing all kinds of different things out of those magazines. And man, it's awesome. This little piece of paper says "Mother said," which I think is very funny. So I'm going to just cut it out and glue it on. It's very Bates-esque, I guess. Oh, I like it down there, I think. I bet it does, Michelle. Like, I have no doubt that that matters. Oh, you know what? I don't want that there. I want it on the outside here because then I want people to open this tag to see what Mother said. But really what Mother said is garbled letters. I bet the fails could still be used for something cool, though. And I just remembered right now that this guy, I really wanted to work on this one this time because it has so much darkness going on. And it just isn't, it doesn't really blend in or mesh well with everything else that's going on in the book so far. So, take care of that. What do I have lying around? I have my big ass Sharpie. I'm going to flood that tag with Sharpie paint. Because I can, right? That's why. Make sure that gets nice and dry. Because I'll tell you this, Sharpie paint, I love a Sharpie pen like no other. And most of the times it does really soak in like and dry well. But if there's already a layer of paint, it can be a little more testy. And so you kind of have to aid it along. Otherwise, it mushes into all your other stuff. But thank goodness we have these nice heat guns that help us. All right. So now the only other thing is that it's acrylic based. So since I heated it with the heat gun, it's going to have a little flexibility to it, because when plastic gets warm, that's what happens. And so I'm going to let it cool down before I do anything else to it. There we go. And I absolutely know what I want to do. I'm going to stitch some straight stitches. And I'm just going to mark where I want them. I want them to cross the white. You know what? I'm not going to mark them. Am I? I don't know. Let's see. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. And I have an awl, and I'm going to put a, whatever, like a piece of, I'm going to probably just use a scrap of cardboard or wood that I have here. Oh, well, that's not too much of a scrap. Okay. Everyone's very quiet tonight. Okay, so this doesn't have any real use right now, which is great, because I'm just going to pop this under the tag, and I'm going to make sure to move it when I need to, but I'm going to push my holes in, and this is just a regular basic awl that's going to puncture holes so that when I go to put my needle and thread through, I don't have to fight too much. Like there's already a pre-hole there. Like I might need to make it a little bit bigger, but this way I'm not forcing to get through. I'll only be working on like making the hole larger. Move the chipboard scrap over. All right, so that's going to be a cool effect because I'm going to use black, whatever I have, perler thread, and it's going to go around and create kind of a ladder effect. And in the past, what I've done with things like this is sort of trap a different piece of fabric or fiber underneath it, which I think is a really cool technique. I'm not sure if I'll do that now. I suppose I should think about it so I can do it while I'm working instead of afterwards. That tends to work out nicer. All right. Less than half the work week left, so that's good. What are you guys watching on TV? All right. We are in. And I think I do have some muslin here. So I think that I will trap some of this underneath the stitching. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay. You're watching The Bachelor. Because I know this is going to get to be kind of a pain down in here, hold on, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I thought that didn't seem right. Oh no, I just can't count on the back side. Nope, that one didn't go through. That's all right. Good thing I double checked. Okay, all good now. I know it's going to be kind of a pain down where it attaches to the page, and that kind of stuff is just going to happen, you know, when you're working in a journal and you bind your pages in instead of working on them outside of the book and then binding them in. So, which just depends on what kind of journal I'm working on, what I decide to do in that case. But what I'm going to combat it here by just doing the ones that are harder first, and then it'll be much easier from then on out. And I'll probably complain a little less. Probably being the key word there. This is why I started a conversation about television, because it's not, like, this is not a super conversational portion of this work. So it's a little more concentrate-y, but I'm running my thread just across in that sort of ladder fashion that I mentioned in straight stitches, and making sure it's not getting caught in all my extra threads and stuff like that. And then once I get to the back side, I'm going to the next hole on the same side. Like, there's no reason for me to worry about going around and around and around. And so this just works out for me. So I don't watch The Bachelor, but I love Prodigal Son, and I just finished The Sinner. That I love these like seasons that don't go together, because they all have their own story, and I really love The Sinner. Like, I feel like that is such a good, I don't know, it's a good series in general. I've loved all 3 of them. I think we've talked about that before, Dina. Yeah, you don't watch a lot of TV, do you? In the U.S., there's a food truck race show too. Do any of you watch that? My mom really likes it. I don't watch it a ton, but it's pretty cool, the concept. Like same with the baking shows and cooking shows. I think it's so cool that people are going on to a show to show how well they cook and to compete for that. Like that's awesome. Read or watch YouTube. That makes sense. Certainly for you. Is that the main character, Lynn? All right, so now that I have this, and I am a fan of this. I like how it looks. It's different. I'm going to pull these tighter. And it's like shoelaces. Like I'm going to have to, you know, pull one in, pull it to the next one, that kind of thing, which is all right. There we go. Much tighter that way. And then I'm going to tie these in the back. And I don't have to, like I could leave them free form. But I don't know what I'm going to do with this, the back side of this tag yet. Like I kind of thought I was close to the end on this book, but there's so many little details that could continue to be added to it that for now, I'm going to leave it like that. There we go. Yeah. And I might just put some heavy gesso over it later and give myself a whole new base with this tag. But for now, the front looks really cool. And I love how the fabric ended up laying over on itself. Totally unintentional. I kind of had it scrunched original in there, but Doreen, are you a terrible cook? I feel like I'm understanding what you're trying to say. Yeah, Lynn, I think that's such a great role for him. He's really, really awesome at it. This is my little stitching like cubby. It just has some really basic, like that's where I keep my gold thread, some silk, and mostly just my needles. And actually my Japanese screw punch is supposed to be in there, not just laying on my desk. So when it comes to needles, it freaks me out that they might be laying around. You feel like it needs a wax seal. Which wax seal do you think it needs? I feel like I probably have a wax seal. The only thing about a wax seal is I have to know where my lighter is. All right, so let's take, let's see. While I look for my lighter, because I definitely did not put it back where it goes, let's take a poll. What wax seal would you like to see? Do you want the paper boat, the plus sign, or the galaxy? And do you want it in black or white? Or I'm going to mix them, actually. I'm sorry. You don't get to choose the wax. I'm choosing the wax, but you choose the seal. Maybe. All right, I'm going to text William to bring me a lighter so that I'm not searching all night for it, because I want a wax seal on there also. I have done others in the journal. I did, let's see here. Let me text William so that he'll bring me a lighter, and then I'll show you. All right. We will see if he shows up. Okay, so back to this. Let's see. I think there's two. Maybe there's not. Oh, there's a button. I did one wax seal for sure. Oh, whoa. Okay, so I did do a wax seal, but guess what I didn't pay attention to was that wax remelts. Okay, wow, just wow. So it was the galaxy, but it is no longer that. Now it's just a waxy blob. So I should keep that in mind. Welcome to the world of mixed media. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, or about that, huh? I feel like I should know where that lighter is. Can you bring me a lighter really quick, please? Thank you. All right, he will be right out. I know, I didn't think about it either. Yeah, it is what it is, right? Lesson learned. Maybe I don't heat so much into the book. Maybe I work on not doing that. I should probably write myself a note. But, so here's an interesting opportunity or something that I can tell you is that I can redo that wax seal. And I actually did that on my love letters bit. You did. Thank you. Oops, sorry, honey. All right, let's get this show on the road. Woo, that lighter has a huge flame. Like, I'm pretty sure you could burn down a whole house with that. Okay, so. Yeah, so, and actually what I do to restamp is I just pour new wax over it, and then the warm wax melts the wax underneath, yada, yada. Like, have, you know, sis, boom, bang, I don't know, but it works. It definitely works. Okay, so I've got my spoon. This is normally my black spoon, but today we're going to get ballsy. And I'm going to do one black, whoops, and two white. I don't know if I told you. I think I did, but maybe not, because I've been thinking a lot about it. But I'm putting in, I did mention this part, new wax seal orders, new designs, but I'm going to pull in a much larger variety of wax. And so Dina, like you bought 3 kits. So you're getting 3 bottles that look like this that are half black and half white. So hopefully you can use black and white wax a lot. But I have figured out now that everyone is as excited about them as I am, that in the future, I'm just going to offer separate bits instead of like little kits. So I'll have the wax seals by themselves, and I'll have little half-size pots of individual colors. So you'll get to pick and choose which colors you get. And I'm bringing in a much larger variety of colors, like teal, yellow, green, red, purple, like lots of different things. So there'll be a good variety. And I keep thinking too, like, you know, there are collectors, and a lot of us like to have one of everything, but just because you have one of every wax seal, wax stamp, doesn't mean you need one spoon for each one. So I have so far been working on keeping my wax spoons separate so I didn't have to clean them so much. But yeah, I know, right? Well, I'm going to mix these, so not to necessarily get a gray, but hopefully like a good marble effect. So then you'll probably use them more than you think. I hope so. I'm so excited. Branching out lots. They haven't responded about that yet, Doreen, but I did ask, so we'll see what they say. I'm hoping for good news. All right, so my black was completely melted, and I'm just dropping my white on top to see. I haven't done a lot of color mixing. Well, in fact, I mostly just have black and white because that's my jam. But I'm really excited to have colored wax and to play with this type of marbled effect. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be good. Oh, so I think we only had one person said paper boat, so we're going paper boat. Done. This is still melting if you want a chance to vote. Paper boat, plus sign, or galaxy, or a D. I have a really great letter D. So close, so close. I love when you see them melt. I probably don't want to move it too much, otherwise it will mix, right? That's how it works. Oh, do I want anything underneath it? You're welcome, Dina. See you tomorrow night. Tell the kids I said hi. All right. We'll just put a few fibers here. Because Dina's leaving, that means that we have 15 minutes left. So if you have any questions or there's anything you want to talk about, just let me know and we'll start that conversation now so we make sure we have plenty of time to get to the heart of the conversation, whatever it might be. All right. We're going in. Oh my goodness. All right, we'll let that sit for just a minute. And I'm going to clean out my spoon without burning myself because that was such a disaster. There we go. Pretty good. And then since we're here, I'm going to re-stamp the galaxy on the other side. So I just need 2 for that one because there's already some wax there. Got my galaxy. Ooh, it's harder to see, but that is really cool. Interesting.
I'll have to keep piling some stuff on top there, but it is pretty neat, isn't it? Definitely stuck now. There we go. Oh, Lynn, I missed where you said the plus sign because your message is so tucked in there like that. I'm so sorry. Well, we're going to do everything but the plus sign. But I just saw your message because it's tucked right at the top of my window. Okay. So this is the re-stamp of the one that I melted with the heat gun because my brain doesn't work sometimes. And I don't plan on doing any more wax stamping, so I'm going to blow that out. And clean out my spoon. Oh, you bet, sweet girl. There definitely is. Oh, there we go. Yep, totally back to life. Good deal. That's so good. Okay. So we have some wax seals. And I'm probably going to work a little harder on trying to work outside of the book and then bring stuff inside. We have about 10 minutes left, so let's see. What can we find to do? There's all this real estate here that could use some serious love. Maybe just as simple as a little Sharpie work. All right. And I think that that's probably where I'm going to stop for the night. Oh, I should, you know, it's going to be a little bit of practice getting used to not using the heat gun in this book so that it doesn't melt the wax seals, but I think that's probably a very important distinction that I need to make from here on out. So I am stopping here because I need this Sharpie to now dry naturally. Yay. So I am going to call it. If you want to chat about anything, let me know. If you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you supporters tomorrow night working in the Chunky Girl. We're getting really close to the end on that one. And everyone else, I will see you next Wednesday. That's my plan. You're very welcome. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here.